Hey, good morning and welcome to our CTE Coffee Hour for September. Unfortunately, we have had a change in plans. We were supposed to have the Civil Rights Method of Administration, Chelsea Canterbury, with us today. Unfortunately, she had a family emergency. And so instead of that, we're going to learn today about a new tool that the department has for us. Super excited to share that with you. So we have the early warning tool. And that is being shared today, not by Chelsea Canterbury, but by Amy Szymanski. So a huge thank you to Amy for joining us today. I contacted her last minute, like 6:45 in the morning. I was like, I am really sorry for the short notice. Is there any way? And she was like, yeah, I can do that for you. I've got that hour free. So thank you, Amy, for joining us. Also with me today is Aaron Weisbrod. He's going to be my Vanna in the background, putting in some links. I will share my slides with you, but I'm going to wait to the end of the presentation today, just because I have something later that I don't want you looking at ahead of time until we get to that point. So at this time, I'm going to turn this over to Amy. She's going to talk about the early warning tool and how that can help you to see data for your ABCs for attendance, behavior, and however you look at it, your course status or course failures, however your district wants to talk about that. So I'm going to stop sharing and give Amy the screen.
Right. Can you see my screen okay?
I believe so.
Wonderful. And good morning, everyone. I appear to be sitting in the dark and I cannot quite figure out why. I've changed my lighting. I've done everything. It just seems like a dark day today. Not like for real, but in terms of my lighting, something's not quite right. So I'm excited to be here and really excited to share some of the enhancements that the department has made to our Ohio District Data Exchange. If you are not familiar with the ODEX tool, it is a tile that you can access through your OHID. You would have to have access to ODEX from your from your OEDS administrator, and then from there, there is also an additional access that you will need in order to see the two tools that I'm going to mention today. So you start with the ODEX access, and then you move into what is called PTG view, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. But PTG view for progress toward grad view is the access that you need to view these two tools that I am sharing with you. If you already have access to ODEX and want to follow along, both tools are up and running. So you can go right into ODEX and click on the link if you have the PTG and you can follow along. So you might be asking, why don't I know about these tools? And that is actually because we have not formally released them in a big push. We did what we would consider a soft release in the spring, and the release continues to go somewhat slowly as we get in different groups of individuals trained. So we're going to be working with our state support teams October 4th to train them on the tools. And then we're doing a really big training with our regional data leads from the department. And that will happen begins in November, and those individuals will be certified to not only train on the tools, but also to conduct different types of data review and analysis with you, which will be super helpful so that you're not only just seeing the data, but you're able to actually work with it and then help use those data to identify students who need assistance. So I would say probably after November is when you'll really start hearing more about trainings coming up and things of that nature. Interested in learning more, I'm always available to help, and then your SSTs will be as well, just to get you your feet wet in it once they're trained in October. You see here another bullet that would say video trainings for guidance counselors and other district staff. And that's what I'm referencing when I say after November, we'll get an idea of exactly what trainings we can put together and to whom. So I appreciate your patience as we start to roll this out. It's kind of a big undertaking, as you can imagine. Um, some of you have already contacted me and said, we got in the tool, we're looking at the tool, we're in our 2025 data, and we see nothing. We just see NAs all over the place. And that is because uh, the data for 2025 through EMIS is just getting processed. So we built the tool, we got all the 24 data ready to go. If you go into your tool and look at 2024, you'll see a fully populated tool. 2025, we started running the EMIS data that was submitted through EMIS just last week. Once it all runs through a process that I can't explain, it will then be available to all of you. So we're anticipating hopefully this week you'll be able to log in and as long as you have been submitting 2025 EMIS data in the categories that I'm going to show you in a moment, your tool should be fully populated. It's just going to take a couple more minutes for all of those huge data sets to run through. And then after that, it'll be updating on a weekly basis. I'll explain that more in a little bit. There are constant customizations and changes going on to all of the tools as we start rolling them out. Then we're either making corrections to things that someone might mention aren't working as we would had hoped, but then we're also adding enhancements. So that's why it's also kind of hard to keep up with the training because there's constantly something added literally every day. So if you've been looking at the progress toward grad reports, you will soon find that there are going to be many more added to that tool. And then soon, and everyone knows what soon means in my world, there will be a student support and intervention inventory add-on where you can actually start to upload your interventions. So not only will you be able to look at your students who are at risk, but then you'll be able to upload interventions and assign those students to interventions right within the tool and progress monitor. So we're trying to build a complete package, which is really exciting, but again, taking some time. So stay tuned. I'm going to jump into just a few screenshots now, just so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. The progress towards graduation is the first tool that you will see under the grad tab. So this is a screen share of the Ohio District Data Exchange. When I look at when I have a meeting with someone and they're showing me their screen and saying we can't access the tool, normally what I'm seeing is that they don't yet have access to this grad module. So that's where the PTG view comes into play. The only way you'll see this grad module is with that access. You may not see all of these other modules at the top. It depends on levels of access. Your EMIS consultant will have all of those, but you'll be granted those that are relevant to your work. So you're looking to have this little grad tab here. Your school that you are looking for will come up right here. In your case, it'll be most likely a joint vocational school. Fortunately, we do have our joint vocational schools inside the tool. They are there, they are available. And it is your building IRN. It's not your CTPD IRN. There were some questions about that. So it is your JBSD IRN. That you will be seeing in the box right here. So when you see IRN, that will be your JBSD IRN. You will see students in grades 9 through 12 for the progress towards grad. And they will be listed, as you can see here, SSID, last name, first name, birth date, when they started high school. I'm sorry, when they started high school, and then their grade level and their cohort year. You can see the course credit status, competency status, and readiness status for any student in your school in grades 9 through 12, based on the fact that you have obviously shared these data in EMIS. But since you have to report them, they should be there, right? You'll also see that there will always be a gray screen on the side that gives kind of an overview of the student that you're looking information, relevant to that student in terms of demographics. There are many, many help documents. They're called wiki reports. Downloading these will be a lifesaver for you for both the EWS and the Progress Towards Grad, because they give you all of the nitty gritty, all of the specifics of what's included in the screen, how you access XYZ, and those are being updated as well. I had given those to the SSTs through our Each Child on Track project. And just so you know, Lisa and Aaron, they've already been updated. So I'm gonna try to get a new set of those. Literally things are changing as we speak. So this is just a little bit more information about what you'll see in terms of course status. It'll give you all of the details for the students in terms of the credits that they have for all of the courses, and then a credit count, and then if they have met their credit requirements in each of those particular areas, so the certain number of courses that they need in science, for example, or history, you'll see met flags for that. Competency, it will show you all of the different types of information they have related to how they've met their competency requirements. A really nice, handy little tool right here will show you if they were excused from the consequences or if they were participating in the alternate assessment. So that's a good spot check to see which students would be graduating with a regular diploma for indicator one. And then and then the readiness status. It'll show you all the seals and the detail, what they're planning to do, and then what they're actually completed. You can also print out course status report. Well, you can print out reports. So course status, readiness status, and competency status for each student as well. And those reports are going to be updated to include even more comprehensive information, but they're just not there yet. So before we go on to the early warning system, and I'll move through those quickly, does anybody have any progress toward grad report questions? Or has anyone used it yet?
Amy, I'm wondering I think I know the answer, but I'm assuming that if a student is at a partner school, 9th and 10th grade, they've reported that in EMIS. And so if they go to a career center, that data, that information, because it's been reported through EMIS, will be there for that career center already as soon as they say, hey, this student is now enrolled in this center.
Exactly. So I'll get to a whole filter screen in a minute and it'll show you, yeah, you can look at students. Yeah, I'll show you. It's exactly right. That's the really nice thing about this is that now you can see all of your students. So your partner schools can see their students who are attending anywhere, as well as you can see students. Well, I'll show you in a minute. So the early warning tool, we have two models, and as it says here, eventually we'll look at three to identify students' risk of not graduating. The first, we're going to look at the ABCs, attendance, behavior, course performance. We also then look at a predictive composite score for basic risk. And then eventually, as we get more savvy with these data, we'll be able to start doing some additional predictive analytics to see like what really works best for Ohio. For example, right now we're using a 10% threshold for attendance. As we collect more data, we may find that Ohio really should be using an 8%, if that makes sense. So, we're gonna get much better at that. Right, Laura. So the information will follow the student if they switch schools, because you'll get the received by. Um, yes. Another thing I'll say to you, Laura, if you haven't used the student claiming module yet in ODEX, that was something that also came out last year. I don't think it got nearly as much fanfare as it should have. It's a great way to go into a new student and you can click a little button, and I'm not probably selling it correctly because that's not my scope of work as much, but you can go in there and pull that student's files from the partner school considerably faster. So talk to your EMIS person about the student claiming module. That might help with the transiency. That was the goal for it. So indicators real quick, attendance 10% or more of the most recent term, behavior, 1 or more days of suspension in the prior 9 weeks. Actually, it should say expulsion. Like I said, these are changing every day. So suspension or expulsion. And then courses having an F in any course. We recalculate those data every weekend. So if you put data in on a Monday, it will be ready to view the following Monday. So it is a pretty quick turnaround in terms of being able to see it populated. Like I said, here's your data viewed PTG. There are other roles, so your current ODEX roles will also work for those who have the bigger, broader ODEX rules. Here is what it will look like on your screen. Here's your grad tab. This is your progress toward graduation tab. And here's your early warning system. So you're going to want to look at students. And then just real briefly, I'll show you, this is your main student summary page. This will show all of your students. This will show you students 14 and over. So you might see some 7th and 8th graders in there. If there's now, depending on, you guys might not if you're a joint vocational school, but if there's a 14-year-old in your district, you will see that here. They may not have as much information because they don't have the same level of courses that your 9 through 12 students will. But here's where the fun part comes in as far as those partner schools and such. So sent reason right here, this will have a drop down and it will say so let's say your Perrysburg schools, you would be able to click on joint vocational school district student, and then only the students that are attending the joint vocational school will pull up. So you can filter by that. If you are, let's do the reverse, and you're Penta, you can see all of the different districts that are represented in your student population. So if you want to just see the students who are from Perrysburg, for example, you can click on it. Perrysburg will come up and then it will just show those students. So it's a nice way to kind of be able to look back and forth in the tool. You can see the students who are who are on track and who are not. You can change the configuration to be more locally specific. So if you don't want to, you can use the 10%, but if you want to change it to like an 8%, you can do that. And then you can also upload up to 3 additional indicators that might work for you if you'd like to do that. And here's your risk score. I'm gonna keep cooking here. So you can click on these at-risk buttons and it will take you to detail for the student. You can look at their attendance data, behavior, course performance, and then their basic risk data. That little gray box here that shows all the breakdown of where they are. This is the state thresholds. These are the local thresholds if you set those. Again, I would recommend highly look at those help documents. That's going to give you all the information you need. I'm going to go on here. Like I said, you can see there's lots and lots of detail that you can pull up. It'll show you kind of what triggered that risk. So this was for this student, it was 1F. If they had 2Fs, it would show here. Similar, and then you can also look at a full student detail, which would show all of their information for risk, their demographic, and then the trend for their risk. So where, based on the date of EMIS that was submitted, you can start to see, they were on track, then they were at risk, they were on track, and you can kind of start to get those patterns and trends. Like I said, you can customize. And then there's going to be a lot more exports. So the cool thing is that you can export these data based on filters. So you can just do a student export, risk trend export, and then you can see all these different types of exports, and it'll export out into an Excel file. And then you can use the Excel file to do it whatever you want. I've seen people, start building pivot tables out of that, to see, specific, demographic information, how many students with disabilities were at risk, and all of that. So, that part is not yet ready. It's like really close. You can right now just pull out everything. We'll soon have it to be able to be filtered and a lot more pretty. Last piece I want to say is that I'm just going to give you a little teaser. The student support intervention inventory is, we are definitely working on it. It's getting close to being done. You can upload your interventions. You can create intervention plans, and fall, I would say, is a relative term of probably winter. So it's really nice. This part I'm really excited about um, to see this kind of come to fruition. So that's all I have. I know I spoke super fast, but I don't want to take up too much time. Just want to give you all just kind of a snapshot of what we're working on. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a quick question, Amy.
Mhm.
That potential coming soon, or I guess will be coming soon tool, would that
Mhm.
be something that would be able to be utilized in conjunction with or to support student success plans?
Right, absolutely. So one of the things that we were really careful not to do was, and I know this seems like kind of confusing. We did not call it a student success plan. I wanted to, but we didn't want to get tied into like legislation because if legislation changed and they changed the name or something like that. So sadly, it's kind of it seems like one more thing, but absolutely it could serve in that regard. Um, it's just kind of how the district wants to use it or the school. So lots of great things on the horizon. And Chelsea does say she's so sorry. She just gave me an update and things are going well for her. So hopefully we'll see her soon and she'll be able to you know, give you that great summary for the presentation she was going to give you. So Lisa, thanks for giving me a chance to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I have one question.
Sure.
And you and I have kind of talked about this before. So if a school is, say, a comprehensive, and they want to see their attendance for students who are enrolled and participating in Career Tech versus students who are just students at the high school, not taking
Mhm,
Career Tech courses.
mhm.
How do you see that data in this system?
Right. So that was something that we were working on. Let me ask you a question. Would the building IRN be different?
Well, the CTPD probably has, since they have their own grade card, I'm guessing they have their own IRN as a building IRN. I'll
If
have
it,
to check into that.
yeah, if it does, then I'm pretty sure you can filter by building IRN. So that would help if that's how they're enrolled. But keep asking me that question. I know I posed it to David Ailey, at that point he had said we have to look to see what their building IRNs are, and we honestly, I apologize, hadn't followed up on that. So, um, keep keep me keep asking me because I want to make sure it's as user friendly to everyone as we possibly can have it be.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Amy. I
Yep,
mean,
absolutely.
it
All
truly
right,
was a
take care.
last minute call to her. So I am so thankful that she was able to join us.
All right, great. Have a good morning, everyone. Thank you.
So we will continue with our coffee hour. Just want to remind you, Aaron did mention that could that supports document be a student success plan? And that would be a great use of that once that is up and running, hopefully this winter, as she said. But, I want to remind you that that career advising policy, the grad plan policy, both of those policies are not specific to traditional schools, right? Like it's every school in Ohio is to be having career advising, implementing all of the policies in the career advising policy, as well as all of the requirements in the grad plan policy. So whether you're a compact or a career center or a comprehensive, like you are still included in those requirements. So student success plans, you can see that in the career advising policy is mentioned at least twice. And then in the grad plan policy, that is also mentioned here about who are your at-risk students? Have you board approved what your at-risk indicators are? So really want to make sure that we are keeping aware of that. These are direct links for you to those laws if you want to take a look at those. So at this time, for us in the group, do we have any questions for the group about anything CTE? All right, well, hearing none, seeing none, I'm going to move us to some new finds, time to share. And I'm super excited to share with you Lauren Logan from Ohio Virtual Career Tech sent this to me recently, and I hope that it will play for you. This is AI, and she was able to have AI create a song for her song lyrics about career tech education. And then she dropped those lyrics into Udio, and Udio created a song for us. So let's see if we can play it.
Welcome to the CTE, where the future's bright and wide. We're more than books and papers, we're the ride of your life. Professional skills you'll gain, set you apart, you see. With real-world work and knowledge, you'll be the best you can be. Down the CTE pathway, where the learning's hands-on. With a banjo in the background, we're singing this song. From work-based learning to credentials you learn. In this bluegrass rhythm, your futures are concerned. You'll engage in work-based learning and earn those IRCs. Join a CTSO and rise up with ease. Mentoring competitions where you'll shine so bright. With every strum and every beat you'll take flight. Down the CTE pathway where the learning's hands-on. With a banjo and never singing this song. From work-based learning to credentials you learn. In this bluegrass rhythm, your futures are concerned. Every Tuesday come and join, where skills are built with pride. From work ethic to leadership, these trades will be your guide. Each month a new horizon, a skill to master well. In the fields of CTE, where your talents dwell. Down the CTE pathway, where the learning's hands-on. With a banjo in the background, we're singing this song. From work-based learning to credentials you learn. In this bluegrass rhythm, your futures are concerned. So get on camera, get engaged, let your creativity flow. In the CTE journey, there's so much you'll know. With each pluck of the strings, your skills will surely grow. In this bluegrass tune, your career will blow.
Thank you, Lauren, so much for sharing that with us. Lots of fun, but I also thought, wow, this could be great in labs. You know, like kids walk in and there's a song playing about what skills they're currently working on and what vocabulary, industry vocabulary is happening in this unit. Like just an opportunity here to do something a little different. So lots of fun. I'm very thankful that Lauren sent that to us. I also want to share this with you. I'm going to give you kind of a heads up. It does have some adult language. And so for that reason, if you want to mute me for a little bit, maybe until this video is over, feel free to do that. I am also going to pause the recording just because I don't feel comfortable putting this out there later. If you want to click on that link on your own to watch it, you can do so. Screen share is paused. Give me just, I'm going to pause that recording.